For the benefits of what I'm going to call the Marvel generation, Bruce Lee was a martial arts expert who was as fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening, but he fought with expert timing. He was a funky China man from funky Chinatown, chopping them up, chopping them down. It's an ancient Chinese art and everybody knew their part. From a feinting to a slip and a kick in from the hip, everybody was kung fu fighting. He was also a magnetic screen presence who starred in several big films and a hit TV show, as well as being able to move like lightning. Hell, his Hong Kong and Hollywood produced films elevated the traditional Hong Kong martial arts film to a new level of popularity and acclaim, sparking a surge of interest in Chinese martial arts in the West in the 1970s. The direction and tone of his films changed and influenced martial arts and martial arts films in the US, Hong Kong and the rest of the world. Sadly, Lee died far too young, leaving us wondering exactly what this young man could have accomplished. Now, bearing all that in mind, and I've glossed over about 99.9% of his accomplishments, would you expect a film about the epic and still controversial showdown between an up-and-coming Bruce Lee and Kung Fu master Wong Jack Man? A film chock full of Asian characters about sharing cultural knowledge with the West and letting it be on TV no less, and the moral debates it poses, tradition versus modernity, the old versus the new, differing philosophies and views on the world, the hot-headedness of youth versus the wisdom of our elders, and why are all my notes about some white guy named Steve? I mean, that's the whitest of names, apart from maybe Tim. Oh, right, because this film about a martial arts legend learning some humility and how to grow as a man doesn't give a fig about the martial arts legend learning some humility, and instead decided to focus on some literally invented guy who's trying to save an invented waitress from the local gangs instead of, you know, one of the greatest martial artists of all time who invented Jeet Kune Do, the forerunner of what we call MMA, all on his own. He gets relegated to, well, the mentor role, with the appropriate amount of screen time and character development. Seriously, despite this allegedly being a film about Bruce Lee, he's only on the entire poster, and the plot description doesn't mention Steve once, you leave with no more idea or information about him than when you went in, and in some cases you might know less. I don't, however, want you to think this film is completely hopeless or pointless. Well, it is, but, you know, I'm kind of feeling benevolent today, probably, because Philip Ng is a brilliant Bruce Lee with almost the same level of movement and charisma as the man himself, and when the film does allow him to have a fight scene, it's brilliant to watch and is the film's sole saving grace, because the end scene is exactly the kind of thing I want to see. Bruce Lee, thugs, and a lot of choreography. And then Steve turns up again, spoiling the whole damn thing. And this is the reshoot version! The original cut of the movie was so poorly received by audiences that the film had to be extensively re-edited in a desperate attempt to please fans by removing many scenes of Billy Magnussen as Steve McKee and focusing more on Philip Ng as Bruce Lee. And if you have to do reshoots to focus on the character that your film is supposed to be about instead of some fictionalized white guy for no adequately explained reason that I can work out, were the executives worried that people wouldn't flock to a film about one of the greatest martial artists of all time, and a moment when he learned some humility after only being able to draw someone that he thought he'd be able to wipe the floor with and change his outlook on life, whilst at the same time tangling with the local triads who seem to have taken a Batman level of offence to guns and training their goons to fight properly, because why would that story be interesting to anyone? Happily, this dud grossed around $7 million on a $31 million budget in the colonies, and it's going to gross a hell of a lot less here. Rewrite it to get rid of Steve completely. Give Bruce Lee some character development and tell the true story that I paid my money to see. Until then, I definitely think you should skip it. But what do you guys think? And what is your favourite Kung Fu film? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, it's been a dunking. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe.